Hey everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All2ReelToo. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me, as always, is
Matthew Maximoff? No. Hayward? Okay. Matthew Hayward. I don't know. Whatever.
Matthew Haas?
Yeah, sure, why not?
So, today on the show, in this episode, we are covering the series finale of WandaVision, episode 9.
Ooh.
Which was entitled the series finale.
Yeah.
Yes. It was directed by Matt Shakman and written by Jack Schaefer. Cinematography by Jess Hall. Editing by Zine Baker and Michael A. Weber. The running time was 49 minutes. The original release date was March 5th, 2021. I don't know why I'm giving all this information, but hey, why not? First off, before it aired, I asked people in our Facebook group, that's the All2ReelToo podcast group, if you want to join, before the episode aired, do you think there will be a big cameo in the last episode of WandaVision? If so, who do you think it will be? I just think it's funny to read these really quick, just to, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Grimm Krompack said Doctor Strange, maybe Nick Fury. Jacob Scarberry said Doctor Strange. Sean Patrick Thomas Daly said, I think it will be someone from the X-Men, thus starting the crossover of Avengers X-Men. Magneto was said to be Wanda's father, then that changed for whatever reason. So, okay. So those are the things we had there. So,
okay.
Yeah, so none of which came true.
Right.
For better or worse.
Damn it. Yeah. The X-Men thing would have been cool, but since they already faked us out with Pietro, I'm like, they're probably not going to do that now. They're just teasing us with, the same actor who played Pietro in, one of the X-Men, or a few of the X-Men movies.
Well, going in, we didn't know that was a fake out, so going into this episode, so. You know what I mean?
What do you mean, with Pietro?
We didn't know that it was necessarily not the character from the X-Men. You know what I mean? Until
I guess I just assumed
until the reveal.
Yeah. Okay, I guess I just assumed then when she called him Pietro and stuff like that.
Well, that just meant he was a fake Pietro. It didn't mean that he was necessarily not a Quicksilver. Because in the X-Men movies, he's not even Pietro. He's Peter. So,
okay, yeah. All right.
So, anyways, so we had, so what happened on this episode, Matt? Like, what's going on?
Well, we started off right where we left off with the last episode, where, I guess that's, basically puppeteering Billy and Tommy with, her strings, essentially, choking them. And, she's kind of taunting Wanda. She actually wants Wanda to, fight her because, we already learned this from the last episode that, Agatha, one of her main abilities is that she's able to absorb other people's, power, which is what gives her strength. So she's, basically teasing Wanda. She wants, her to shoot some of her power at her so she can, have, a piece of it for herself, then she could sort of, build upon that. And, she gets what she wants, a little piece, and then she shoots, some of the red stuff at Wanda, and Wanda looks at her hand, and it's looks like it's kind of like infected, like Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, almost like Dumbledore's hand with the curse. Kind of looked a little bit like that. Not as bad though.
Yeah.
And so Wanda realizes that Agatha is actually stealing her power, essentially. And Agatha actually tells her that's what she's doing, because she, we kind of had this idea from the last episode that Agatha is kind of envious of Wanda for having all this power without really having to put any of the work into learning what magic really is and stuff like that. And but she literally shows her cards by saying, I take from the undeserving. That's kind of my thing. So she she's dedicated the past 500, 600 years, however old she is, to studying magic. And she runs into this woman who, just learned how to do this stuff 3 weeks ago, maybe at most. And so we kind of start a fight going on pretty much from the beginning of the episode. Wanda throws a car at Agatha, the car that looks kind of like Iron Man's old suit, which is interesting. And it goes into the house. And then she looks under there, and all you can see is the Agatha's boots. So it's kind of like a play, on the Wizard of Oz type of thing.
Yeah.
With Dorothy's house on top of the Wicked Witch of the East or whatever.
Yeah.
And
so then that makes Agatha the Wicked Witch of the West View.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, so it's kind of funny. And so that's pretty much what sets us off, really, from the get-go. I mean, pretty starts off pretty intense. And this episode didn't really have any kind of build-up. Most of the episodes really had a formula where it was pretty much like TV show, and then within the last 5 minutes of the episode, something weird would happen. Then that was pretty much the formula, which one could criticize for being formulaic, but at the same time, since she is kind of living through sitcoms, it actually kind of makes sense to have it be formulaic, because that's kind of the whole deal,
Yeah.
That because that's what sitcoms are like. They all have a formula, so that's kind of it wasn't them being lazy. That was kind of what they were getting at. Okay, we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna have a weird thing at the end, and then we're gonna go into the next episode and just kind of repeat that. But this pretty much just started off different. Pretty much throughout the whole episode is pretty intense. I mean, it's pretty much just fighting for most of it. I mean,
it's basically the end of a Marvel movie where you have the big fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's basically the end of this 6-hour movie that we watched. So.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah. So basically, what we have going on here too is Monica Rambeau is actually captured by the quote unquote Pietro. In the attic of Agatha's house. So basically, we end up, she finds this, headshot, like he's an actor or something, of him when he's younger. And it's like a young picture of oh crap, I just blanked on Evan Peters. And, there we go. And, it says his identity as Ralph Boner. So, which I'm wondering, it's a possibility that that's actually just a play on the fact that there was a character named Boner on, Growing Pains.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But so basically what we're realizing now is that the Ralph that Agnes, aka Agatha, has been talking about the whole time is this dude. So
that's her husband. Yeah.
Yeah. And so she sees this like necklace that's kind of glowing purple around his neck, and like, so she rips that off of him, and then he basically is now back to being Ralph and no longer Quicksilver, so.
Right.
So, yeah, that was kind of in my opinion, a letdown on the whole thing. I mean, I think there should have been a better reveal, but that's just me. I mean, I understand what they were going for here, but still, maybe Ralph Boner's going to be important in the future. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. He might be, maybe he's like the witness, but then again, why would you be an actor? That would be a bad thing, if you're in the witness protection.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, is that a headshot or is that like a file thing that maybe maybe he's under witness protection and maybe his name isn't really Ralph Boner, and we'll find out later that he actually is
right
Quicksilver or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
There's so many more movies and things coming up. So
yeah, I know, in Phase 4. So it's like they already teased. Well, in Endgame, they already teased. I forgot basically Marvel's version of Aquaman, when they were talking about like the earthquakes underwater or whatever.
Namor the Submariner.
Yeah. That seemed almost kind of like a tease of, maybe perhaps that character. I don't know. I heard they're making a movie about him sometime soon, or maybe not soon, but
there's a possibility he might be in Black Panther too. So.
Oh, okay, well, that's cool. Yeah, because that's right. Because that was when sorry, I'm blanking on names too. Jeez, Natasha was talking with I forgot her name, but she's like pretty much like the military commander of Wakanda. In Endgame, when they're like having their
I'm blanking on the character's name too, but yeah.
Sorry, guys. Like both, I'm gonna blame it on the seasons changing. Yeah, I always get a little bit, disoriented. So that's what that's the fault of spring. So
it's time to change. You've got to rearrange.
Wow.
Sorry.
But I liked how he was like talking too, of like, oh, you want to tussle again? Like, just so annoying.
Yeah.
He like just basically like he just like does a speed power and just like touches her and she like falls back like real far or whatever, and then she eventually just throws him over her shoulder and like puts him in a grip or whatever, and then that's when she takes off his his controlling necklace.
Yes. So I mean, and basically like it's just like, hopefully that whole thing wasn't just a setup for a dick joke.
Yeah, I know. I do think you're right about the growing pains reference, though, because he showed up in the episode that was kind of like a play on the growing pains. So, like, at the very end of that episode, that would have been a cool nod to that show, because that was one of my favorite shows of the '80s. Growing pains. So it's too bad that Kirk Cameron turned out to be a complete jerk, but whatever.
Yeah. It's also too bad that the actor that played Boner passed away recently, sometime in the last 10 years. So yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm blanking on his name now too, which is really sad.
Sorry, dude.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I'm gonna have to look that up before we're done here. Anyways, then we have we have Vision shows up, aka the White Vision, that is, and he's like he comes up to Wanda, and she thinks it's like him trying to like kiss her or something, but he starts to crush her head.
Gosh.
Which is kind of scary.
Yeah, I know, you could hear like the bones. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, that was scary.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of weird. But he basically reveals that Hayward had basically ordered him to eliminate both Wanda and her fake vision,
her hex vision or her hex gen, if you will.
Yeah.
Just so weird, that scene. Like how quickly she was willing to just like give up on the vision she created. Like, oh, is this the real vision? Oh, okay, the one I've been living with for like weeks. Who cares about that one? Like what a jerk. Like, seriously, dude. Like
either that or she was just kind of like, what the hell's going on, sort of thing. You know what I mean? So
maybe she thought that he turned white for whatever reason because of magic, something like that. Or so that's it's possible.
Yeah, it wasn't really clear.
Right. Well, it's right because right after that, Hex Vision went and flew out. So she probably thought that was actually. Never mind. Sorry, I didn't mean to imply that she was like willing to cheat on her own subconscious. I guess how is that? Whatever.
Yeah.
Because that's all that Vision is, and Hex is herself. So. You can't really cheat on yourself, I guess.
That brings up a good question. So, like, if your husband or wife is, like, cloned, is it really cheating if you... No. I'm just joking.
Yeah, exactly. It's a future dilemma that philosophers and ethicists will have to, to wrestle over.
I mean, and then it's also like the whole theory, like, so if you clone yourself and then have sex with yourself, is that sex or is that masturbation?
That's creepy, whatever. Reminds me of that scene from The Boys season 2. Sorry if I'm spoiler, but. That shapeshifter dude, is like made him look just like Homelander.
Yeah,
he's like, it's not gay if it's with yourself. It's like, it's not gay, but it's really, really creepy. So it's like, saying it's not gay that doesn't like being gay is fine. I think having sex with yourself, that's the weird.
It's funny because I just watched there's an old. Sketch, I can't remember. I saw it on YouTube. I don't know if it's from like College Humor or one of those YouTube channels, and it was a Back to the Future parody thing. It was from years ago, and it shows the scene where Marty almost makes out with his mom in the car, and then but in the scene he ends up actually going through and having sex with his mom. And then he goes back to Doc, and Doc's like, "Okay, now we gotta send you back to stop yourself from having sex with your mom." And then, and then he ends up having like he ends up having a threesome with himself and and his mom, and it's funny. And he actually says the same thing that they said in there, and he's like, "Well, it's not really gay if it's with myself."
Wow.
It's like, okay, the boys kind of stole that thing. That's just funny that I just happened to watch that. I just happened to watch that yesterday randomly. Anyways, so the so back to the show. WandaVision. So you can join us for our new podcast where we just discuss cloning and the sexual implications of it. Yes.
Also, too. Well, I had that idea once too. It just came to me a long time ago where I was thinking about like the multiverse and stuff like that, and I was like the multiverse is discovered, but then unfortunately that makes incest legal now because it's like, well, if you meet someone of a different Earth, it's not technically your.
Jesus.
So it's like, how Sorry, I don't know why this is getting weird. Okay, this is a weird conversation. But I'm just saying, like, ethicists and philosophers will have to then, like, wrestle over those like implications. Like, okay, technically, that person's from Earth too, but no, you shouldn't do that. No.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't have sex with the, alternate version of your sister. It's just like...
or even yourself.
Yeah, that too.
Because if you're saying it's not gay but with yourself, like, okay, well, I still feel weird with doing that with Earth 1 version of me, but if it's Earth 777 version, that's fine with that. Nope, it's wrong, illegal. I'm writing the rule right now, even though we have not discovered the multiverse. Yes, I don't want to deal with that kind of madness. Ooh. But
all of our all of our doppelgangers in Earth 777 are actually really hot, so it's cool. I'm joking.
Okay, this is a weird conversation. Sorry, guys.
We
I don't know. No idea.
We digress.
We got onto this.
We digress. We digress. So, So back to this show called WandaVision. We have we have this situation where what's going on actually here? I'll let you pick it up here, Matt.
No problem.
Yeah.
White Vision and Hex Vision are going at it. White Vision actually tries to do what Thanos did, trying to rip the Mind Stone right out of his head, but he was able to sort of phase out of it, and then White Vision did the same thing later. It seems like White Vision kind of just picks up, like, learns basically everything, like, that's like pretty much like almost like a computer, like he sees whatever Hex Vision does and then he just does the same thing later on. So, like, nobody's really winning the fight because they're just copying each other essentially. And then this might be a little bit different in time-wise. I might be skipping, like, from the timeline of what the episode's going on, but, like, Hex Vision eventually gets White Vision to just stop fighting just for a moment, to just talk to him for a second, and then he says, because White Vision said that, he has to neutralize both Wanda and Vision, and then Hex Vision says, well, you're actually the true Vision, I'm just a conditional Vision, so you don't really have to destroy me because, pretty much I'm not, like, a factor or whatever. And then White Vision says, I request elaboration. I thought that was kind of cool. Just, like, very logical. Almost like data or something, like.
And he talks about that that theory about a boat where if you... It's basically the thing where, okay, so there's a boat and you replace the pieces of the wood one at a time until eventually it's completely new wood. So is it really the same boat? And if you take those pieces of that wood and build another boat with it, is that really the same boat? Or is neither or both?
Right.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So
it's an interesting philosophical problem. It's really they both come to the conclusion that they're both Vision essentially. Just different ways. Because that is a really interesting. The ship of, was it the Thesis or something like that? Which is interesting too, because like in Saudi Arabia and stuff, like with the Kaaba, it's kind of a similar thing, because the Kaaba that's sitting in Saudi Arabia right now is not the same Kaaba that existed like in ancient times, like with Muhammad or even before Muhammad. And it's been rebuilt, probably dozens of times since that time. So it's like, but people still call it the Kaaba. So it's like, well, is it the Kaaba or is it just a Kaaba?
Yeah.
By the way, Kaaba is just Arabic for cube. That's literally what it means. So, but not a hexagon, no. So sorry for that, but just a cube shaped.
But actually, if you look at if you draw a cube and then you color the whole thing in, it's actually a hexagon.
Oh, interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
So basically, now we're going to be seeing articles saying that WandaVision is Islamic propaganda, and Sharia law or something, or Wanda Sharia or something like that, and we got to cancel WandaVision because I don't want that. But at the same time, I'm against cancel culture, but I want to cancel WandaVision for canceling my American Christianity.
And I want to cancel it because they took away my Mr. Potato Head and my racist imagery in the Dr. Seuss that I never read anyways because I don't know how to read. And but wait, anyways,
about that. I know. I'm sorry. We always get into politics at some point in our episodes, which is whatever. A lot of people don't do that. That's
whatever.
They want to keep it clean. That's fine. We usually kind of delve into rants, but so what's interesting about that is, like you said, Dr. Seuss, I could probably go and find old clips of Tucker Carlson or whatever, basically ranting against Dr. Seuss as being liberal propaganda or whatever. But now that they removed a few books, somehow Dr. Seuss is it's a free speech advocate, and it's like every time. It's like they just bring people to their side, whenever they think that they're being oppressed or whatever.
They'd be fine if they were banning the Lorax, which is about environmentalism.
Yeah,
but
exactly. I think Fox News has even done segments where they talked about that book, saying how it was, even back then it was trying to do propaganda for environmentalism. So it's now suddenly though it's
yeah, and then. But they're fine with the racism in the old books. But anyways, that's another story altogether.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's anyway. Yeah.
Do you want to take a quick break here, Matt, and then we'll come back and we'll talk more about WandaVision?
Sure.
Okay, we'll be right back.
It's the ninja from the Ask the Angry Ninja show saying, come listen to the show. We got the ninja wife to give you movie reviews. We got the conscript to give you the ninja news. And we got the battle to talk about your sports. And as always, it is the Ask the Angry Ninja show. So ask me a question. We'll give you the ninja knowledge you need for your ninja life. Search for us anywhere you get your podcast from. Just search for the Ask the Angry Ninja show and enjoy the show.
We are back in white.
Back in white, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Is that like a AC/DC cover band, Back in White?
Yes. And the lead singer looks like White Vision. Anyways,
whoa. You know what I was gonna say last week, by the way? I forgot to though.
What's that?
About White Vision. So I was gonna bring up the point during our episode, but then we just kept talking and stuff, and I just totally forgot about it. But then somebody on the community fans Facebook group had a picture of right when they were loading up White Vision, and they put the Greendale human beings costume because he looked just like the mascot for the Greendale human beings. I was going to bring that up, but then someone made a picture. I'm like, God damn it! I came up with that. I mean, not really, but I probably. Other people did, obviously, but
parallel thinking,
Yeah, because I just wanted to bring that up of oh my god, it's the Greendale human being. Yeah.
So, anyways, in the episode here, we've got we've got the fight going on between Wanda and Agatha. And basically, she does this one thing where she actually takes takes Agatha back to the Salem witch trial thing where her, where she's at the stake, and the witches are all dead on the ground. That we had experienced in the previous episode. Basically, then Agatha gains control of Wanda's thing of what's going on there, and she basically ends up forcing Wanda to give up her magic. So Billy and Tommy sense that something bad is happening. So they go down to the town square to help out their mom. And at one point, there's an opening within the hex, so Sword and Hayward and everybody can come in. And Hayward at one point tries to shoot the boys.
Yeah,
because he's such a good guy. Anyways,
Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah, he tries to shoot the little boys, and then Monica Rambeau, who had escaped from Evan Peters' Ralph guy,
his man cave.
Yeah, escaped from his attic man cave, where he just sits around and watches Steven Seagal movies, and which, if you had a man cave, that was what you would do too, right?
Probably, yeah.
Just sit around all day and watch the greatest actor of all time, Steven fucking Seagal. Well,
it probably explains why he was a failed actor himself. Is he's watching that for inspiration. I mean, it's like,
yeah, I mean, you can never live up to the greatness of Steven Seagal, so that would just make you not want to be an actor anymore.
Yeah. That weird green shit in his blender. What was he drinking?
I think it was like a smoothie or something.
Like a smoothie?
Like
didn't seem like a health conscious kind of person though.
No,
so I don't know.
But who knows?
Maybe it was like a weed smoothie or something.
Probably. Yeah. And then but yeah. So, anyways, back to so Monica lands, all superhero style in front of them and saves Billy and Tommy with her newly discovered superpowers. Which was really awesome. I liked seeing that. I like Monica a lot. She's like my favorite new character in the whole MCU. So,
yeah, she's good.
Yeah. I mean, I even liked her when she was the little girl in the other movie. She was funny. So it's, and they did a good job casting, the adult version. So, like you said, Wanda's vision had defeated, oh yeah, right before I forgot that, Hayward is standing there, and, out of nowhere comes Darcy in her, little, her little, truck from the last movie. Darcy Lewis basically takes down Hayward.
Right, because he's trying to drive away after his failed assassination attempt on the children.
Yeah, and then she crashes into him and takes him down.
T-bones him, essentially, so he can't get out of the car, because, he's, crushed between... she's like, enjoy prison or whatever. Which, I kind of like that, but at the same time, it seemed kind of like... I wanted him to have a little bit more of, a punishment and just, comic relief. He just tried to kill children.
Yeah, I mean, my feeling is I think we maybe will hear more about him in the future. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or it could just be a one-off character. Who knows? But,
yeah.
If not, I think there's more to it, because there's got to be some reason why he was doing what he was doing. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe he thought what he was doing was for the good of people. You know what I mean? I don't know.
But why specifically go after the children? Which it seems interesting that his character is kind of...
Well, look, if you look at it in a certain way, I mean, I'm not defending him trying to hurt children, but they really weren't real. in his
they were, but,
in his mind at least. You know what I mean?
They were, but at the same time, he knew even before Wanda knew. Like we mentioned this last episode, that he even knew before Wanda knew that she had the abilities to like kind of like write her own reality. So it's like, how would he know this before she knew? It's just there's something going on with him. That's
what I'm saying. I just hope they explore more about Sword and stuff like that in future movies. Which I'm sure they will, because they're setting it up. You know, there's going to be more Sword in I'm sure in both Spider-Man, also in you know, Doctor Strange and other things. You know, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more, and especially probably in Captain Marvel too.
Oh, I can't wait. I mean, unfortunately, we're going to have to wait like almost 3 years total for Captain Marvel 2 to come out, because they said it's going to be like probably like 2022 at like the end of 2022 though.
Yeah.
November. So like, oh man, like.
Yeah, well, that's only like a year and a half away or something, if you really think about it.
Right,
So,
yeah, I know.
Yeah, but it's it'll be interesting too, because I mean, I know that Monica Rambeau and also Miss Marvel is going to be in that movie too, and Miss Marvel is a show that is going to premiere on Disney Plus before then too. So, which is about it's like the first Muslim superhero too. So
see, that's why I told you. See, I was telling you right there. So you know the cube hexagon, Islamic witchcraft, because that makes sense in my mind.
Yeah, it's the first Marvel Muslim superhero, I should say. Because,
that's right.
Because you know, because there is a Muslim superhero in Legends of Tomorrow, so that's cool. Anyways,
that's right. Zari Tarazi. Yeah. Well, or Bayfrod as well. Which I looked up those names before. Bayfrod actually means, I think, something like nobility, like pure of heart, or something like that, or joyful. Yeah. Which is interesting, because Bayfrod is kind of like a stoner who's always like chilling. You know. Anyway, we're mixing two different companies here.
Yes. So it'll be interesting to see where the story of Sword goes and what we find out, you know, in these other shows and things of that nature. You know, I'm sure there's going to be more brought up. Who knows? There might even be something in Falcon and Winter Soldier. Which comes out in a couple weeks.
That's right.
So we've got So like we said, Wanda's Vision had defeated the Vision by the White Vision, that is, by restoring his memories, and then he flees from Westview, like goes up in the sky and flies away, which I think he's doing that as a way to try to figure out what's going on in all the memories and things of that nature. Wanda is like transferring her magic into Agnes. While she's doing this, she's secretly missing things, and she's also creating these runes around the barrier of the town to basically strip Agatha of her powers. And then she ends up trapping her permanently in Westview as Agnes. Basically, but we did have earlier a situation I forgot to say where Agnes had woken up all the people of Westview.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And we find out that Dottie basically was a whole red herring this whole time.
Yeah.
So she, you know, people were like, oh, maybe she's Mephisto, maybe she's this, maybe she's that, you know, and it's like, yeah, no, she was just lady in the town.
A mom who wants to hold her kid because he's trapped in her bedroom or something like that.
and interesting thing is her name was Sarah Proctor, she says, and Sarah Proctor was a woman burned at the stake during the Salem witch trials.
Jeez.
in the real world. And,
wow.
Goody Proctor.
That's right, Goody, yeah.
Yeah.
What a name, too. Goody Proctor is killed.
Yeah. Well, they were all called Goody. Like, that was basically, like, that's what okay. That's like Mrs. or Miss or something like that. Like, women were all called Goody. Yeah. I was in the Crucible when I was in high school, so I did all this research on the Salem Witch trials back then. I was weird. I had like 21 lines in the frickin' play. And, I remember my last line. I had 20 lines in the first act, and then one line in the second act. And my line in the second act is, "It's a Providence. The thing is out now. It's a Providence." Okay. Anyways, and then that was, like 30 years ago that I said that. Anyways, but the whole the whole Salem witch trials, basically, they were all called Goodies and stuff like that. And so it's interesting that she has that name. I mean, it's obviously just an Easter egg. There was this whole, that happened. So we basically find out that then, because of the runes that she created that we were made aware of in previous episodes, that if you put the runes, around, you can't. The only witch that can use the magic is the ones that put the runes up there. So she ends up then permanently. She takes all of her powers back from Agnes, and then she basically, from Agatha, and then she traps her into Westview as the nosy neighbor Agnes that she had pretended to be.
Right.
So, yeah.
Cheery neighbor with all of her corny jokes and stuff like that.
Okie dokie, artichoke.
Yeah, exactly. Artichoke. Which is interesting, though, about the runes, because, I watched the episode twice, and at the first time I didn't really realize. I thought Wanda was just missing, but later on I realized she was doing it on purpose. She was casting runes all around while she was, quote, missing Agatha. And Agatha, of course, didn't really suspect her because her arrogance kind of got the best of her, where she just assumed that Wanda didn't know anything. But it's like Wanda was, listening really intently to everything she was saying in the previous episode. I think Agatha thought that she was just, in a state of shock, but she was actually learning the entire time. So, she's, just giving her free lessons, essentially, And, so, yeah, she set those runes. But I think, too, I think it looked like she was also taking some of Agatha's power away from her, so that now she has Agatha's power as well.
Yeah, I mean... because she's become the Scarlet Witch, too, she is now the most powerful being in all of the MCU.
Yeah, exactly.
Because she tells her that she has more power than Doctor Strange.
Right, yeah, it's more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme. So
yeah,
it's interesting. Agatha knows about that because Doctor Strange and stuff, they do magic, but their magic's a little bit different than the type that Agatha practices. Because she's got a Darkhold. Darkhold is the really dark magic spell book. But if you go and watch Doctor Strange, they got hundreds of books, so it's magic. It's much more complex than just
there is a thing that people point out, that there is one book missing in Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm. Right,
which has got to be the Darkhold. And the other thing about the Darkhold too is that people point out, because the Darkhold, I'm not going to ruin anything for anybody that hasn't seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but it does appear in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at one point, and it looks completely different. So people are like, oh, because it looks different, that means that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is no longer canon.
Oh, okay.
But my theory on it is the book can change the way it fucking looks. And also Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. could be a different timeline. So it's still canon, it's just, you got to realize that it's canon, but it might not be canon at the same time, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It's just a different...
Okay.
But I just hate it when people try to downplay Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because I loved that show. So,
Yeah,
because it was such.
Yeah, I've heard people
talk badly about it a lot, but it's such a good show. Anyways, it starts out kind of slow, but it gets really good as it goes on.
Well,
yeah.
Well, so did the Marvel MCU start off slow. I mean, Iron Man 1 really is not that exciting. It really isn't. I mean, the last 15 minutes are like the only battles going on, you know.
So anyways, in the show, then we have we have basically Wanda totally becomes the Scarlet Witch. Like, we start to see the actual crown and everything on her head in the process. And so then the family and her return to their house as the barrier of the hex starts to collapse. She's tucking her kids into bed, and basically, there's interesting things in the bedroom too, though. Like which one's the fast one? I always forget.
Oh, Tommy's the fast one.
Yeah. On Tommy's side, there's a bunch of race cars on his wall, which is kind of interesting. In between the two beds that they're sleeping on in their bedroom, there's like a poster on the wall that looks like a bunch of chaos going on. And one thing I do want to point out is that the world is collapsing. We never do see them disappear.
Right.
I'm not saying that they did or didn't, but that they could have been taken by somebody or something before they disappeared.
Right.
Just wanted to point that out. Basically then Wanda and Vision have a very tearful goodbye. Then and they also say to each other that Vision reassures her that somehow they will see each other again one day, since they have said goodbye before. So I don't know. I was crying. I know that much.
It was really emotional.
Yeah. Then Wanda takes off after that she goes to the town square. She sees Monica Rambeau and basically makes peace with her and kind of gives her a nod and all this other stuff. And
the townspeople are pissed at her. They're just like,
they're all
staring at her.
They're all staring at her like, "Fuck you." And
because they were saying that they were having her nightmares when they went to sleep.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was that's creepy as hell.
I know. It's like.
So then Wanda flies off and basically goes into hiding, and and the credits start to roll.
Yep.
And we have a mid-credit scene where Hayward is arrested for tampering with the evidence. And then an agent comes and talks to Monica and asks her to meet her in the theater. And she's basically a Skrull disguised as an FBI agent. And then says that a friend of her mother wants to meet her. And points upwards. I mean, my theory is that that's got to be Nick Fury.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it has to be.
Yeah.
It's not a Skrull. I mean, it's unlikely to be, what's his name?
Talos.
Talos. Probably not him.
Yeah. Cause we see in the end of, Spider-Man, Far From Home, which takes place after the events of this movie. in the post-credits scene, we see Nick Fury up in space somewhere.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. Because in the whole movie, he was, Talos was actually pretending to be Nick Fury. And his wife was pretending to be Maria Hill. So
I forgot. Why were they doing that? I forgot why they were pretending.
Because, Nick Fury and Maria Hill had something else to do up in space, I think.
Oh, okay.
So, and I hope we get more Maria Hill because I love Colby Smulders. So, anyways,
yeah.
I've been watching a lot of How I Met Your Mother again lately. So, anyways, so
good show, Himium, good show.
Yeah, it's my fall asleep to TV show. Like I just put it on in the bedroom before I go to bed. So the so we see that in the mid credit scene, and then there's a post credit scene. Where we see Wanda is somewhere in like a cabin in the middle of nowhere that looks like some people pointed out, which is interesting, that the cabin actually looks a lot like the cabin from Evil Dead.
Oh wow!
Which is interesting because Sam Raimi, who directed Evil Dead and the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies as well, is directing Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So, there's in there we see a astral form of Wanda inside while the, I don't know, quote unquote real Wanda, who's sitting there in gray sweats, is making some tea. We see in like a bedroom or something the astral version of her studying the Darkhold.
Right.
So
that freaked me out the first time. I didn't understand the first time. I actually thought that for a second that was like a second Wanda, like a clone or something. I was like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that she was astral projecting herself. To do that.
Well, if it's her clone and it's in the bedroom, I guess that... Oh, wait, sorry.
Oh, God. not this again. So, if you're wearing a different costume, does it count as... God damn it. But that begs the question, though, about that, though. So, like, is like, now that she's Scarlet Witch, just, like... Is that like her natural form now, like with the crown and stuff? Like
it might be. I mean, that might be like her powerful form, at least, or whatever. You know. And while she's there, we also hear Tommy and Billy calling for her for help. So, like, are they stuck in some astral plane somewhere that we don't know of? Are they in another, multiverse? What's going on?
Well.
Yeah.
Okay, about that. So, I watched it a few times, and to me, it actually sounded like the exact audio clip from when Agatha had her in her basement.
Yeah.
Like, and then so I'm starting to wonder, is that where Agatha, did she send them somewhere, because like, I mean, they weren't in the basement at all. They were somewhere else, but she could hear them yelling. And so, like, I'm starting to wonder, if they're back in that realm again, because, like, after, Agatha basically, like, made her, revisit all of her memories and her trauma and stuff, suddenly, they were outside, but I don't think the kids were yelling from outside at that time. I think they were, somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then Agatha went and retrieved and brought him outside. So,
and the interesting thing too is that when she turns Agatha into Agnes, she still has her brooch,
right?
Which could indicate that she still has some powers,
right?
And that maybe she's able to break through the Agnes spell and become Agatha, and maybe she did something to the kids. Who knows? We'll find out in the Multiverse of Madness, I'm sure. So
I'm sure, and I'm sure we'll find something. And I don't know, because I watch a few theory videos here and there, and I don't know which one it was. No, it was an article I read, and the person was saying that they think that Wanda's going to be a villain. I'm like, I really hope not, because like the whole point of this show was to sort of like resolve that, kind of like she didn't mean to be a villain, but she did something that was kind of villainous by mistake, and then was maintain it.
I mean, there's a lot of things we can speculate on too in a minute. Do you want to take a break now and then come back and do some speculation about where the MCU might be going? And also, we'll read some listener comments too that I got on our Facebook group. We'll be right back after this.
What is Gen X? What is the silent generation? What do generations have in common? Hi, I'm Trish the Dish from the Gen X Voice podcast, and I invite you to listen to conversations I have with folks from different generations, backgrounds, beliefs, and experiences in an attempt to see what connects rather than divides us. Even though Gen X has been called slackers, Karens, or not mentioned at all in some cases, we are the bridge generation, so I feel compelled to do my part to destroy ageism by bringing all these voices together. And, as a bonus, each guest gets to answer some 80s questions at the end of each show. So download and listen to Gen X Voice today on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And let's see how much we have in common after all.
And we are back. Okay, so first off, Matt, I'm going to read some thoughts on the episode that I had found from online. So here's listener Mike Burton. He says, by the way, Mike Burton is a podcaster himself. I just wanted to point that out. Okay, yeah, Mike Burton, who is a podcaster himself, he hosts the Genuine Chit Chat podcast and also Comics in Motion. So be sure to check those out. He's a good guy. Anyways, he said I enjoyed it, but I felt like it left me wanting more. I'm not entirely sure what I actually wanted, but it was something. Maybe it felt like from a certain point it all sort of wrapped itself up a bit too easy, bar the second post-credit scene. I think WandaVision was an excellent show. I thoroughly enjoyed it and love the risk Marvel took by with the direction of the show. The visual effects, acting, and plot were all ace, but by the end, it sort of felt like an interlude chapter in the MCU. So although it was brilliant, I feel like that maybe they didn't stick the landing 100%. And then, I kind of agree with him there. I mean, it might, it is kind of a letdown, but then again, it had a lot to live up to,
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much agree with that. Because it's just hard to do an ending. It really is. It's hard to end a story. It's much easier to begin a story than it is to end one.
Yeah.
But still, this was also a transition into, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So
yeah,
we might get more answers.
And a whole transition into the whole fourth, the phase 4 of the MCU in general.
Yeah.
Okay, Jacob Scarberry said they are absolutely 100% set for the multiverse, and it was a genuinely exciting final episode. Top notch on all fronts. I was a little disappointed that there wasn't a major cameo, but the hints post-credit made up for it. I can't wait to see the next phase of the MCU. Okay, Ryan Moore says, I personally felt it was a cynical 6-hour setup movie disguised as a TV show that is the textbook definition of style over substance. Good on a technical level, but everything else fell flat for me personally. I don't really agree with him, but, Ryan's a good guy, so I'm cool with it. Whatever. Meredith Holland said, maybe it's because I have never really been a Marvel fan, save for the Deadpool movies, until now. The show rocked. I couldn't wait to watch each episode. I really wish there would be more of this show, but I get that it is not in the cards right now. But this show and its finale makes me ready for Doctor Strange 2. Since Scarlet Witch will be involved, I don't even care that I haven't even seen the original Doctor Strange yet. Okay. So, yeah. So that's what some of our viewers thought. I mean, listeners. I don't know why I said viewers. But, whatever. I guess they could, look at their phones while they listen.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm assuming most of them aren't blind, but, some might be. Who knows? Anyway, so...
Right. Well, I would suggest checking out the Doctor Strange movie, because it's really good.
Yeah, it is. I didn't like it the first time I watched it, but the second time I liked it. Which is weird. Okay, here's some... Do you want me to read some trivia here, Matt?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And then we'll talk speculation after that. Okay, the movie showing at the modern-day Westview Theater is Tannhauser Gate. Tannhauser Gate is mentioned by replicant Roy Batty, played by Rutger Hauer, in his Tears in the Rain monologue in the movie Blade Runner. Which is interesting because he's a fake person coming to grips with who he is and stuff like that, so... says a lot about this show, too. In one of the publicity posters released at the start of the series, the one that shows Wanda and Vision standing together behind a stack of televisions, part of Wanda's new costume can be seen peeking out through some of the televisions. Her right arm and upper body shows elements of an outfit that are not consistent with her previous outfits from the MCU films, but match her Scarlet Witch outfit that is revealed in this episode. It was previously noted that starting with episode 2, WandaVision, Don't Touch That Dial, the house used for the exterior shots of WandaVision's home is the same house used for the exterior shots of the Griswold family house in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. As an additional homage to that movie, during one of Vision's fight scenes, he tosses his opponent into an RV. If you freeze the frame, you can see from the top and the back side views that it is a dilapidated RV resembling Cousin Eddie's vehicle from the National Lampoon's Vacation. Christmas Vacation. Yeah.
Wow.
The logo on the back of the delivery truck is Presto. In the comics, Prester John is a Sokovian crusader teleported from the 15th century to the 21st. I don't know what that means, but anyways. During the post-credit scenes, Wanda is seen walking into a cabin and preparing tea, while further inside her astral form, who is dressed as the Scarlet Witch, is studying the Darkhold. This is similar to a scene in Doctor Strange, where the titular character is sleeping while his astral form is studying a tome from the library. This is also a demonstration that she is more powerful than Doctor Strange, as she can function both in reality and in the astral plane simultaneously. Whereas he has to sleep, basically, So,
right. Well, does he have to sleep, or was that just what he was doing at that time?
I don't know, but I mean, it could just be a metaphor for the fact that you know what I mean? It's just like kind
right,
of
yeah, that she's
implying that she's more powerful.
Right.
The post-credit scene featuring Wanda and her cabin is reminiscent of the post-credit scenes from The Incredible Hulk 2008, which similarly shows Bruce Banner, Edward Norton, in a remote cabin working on controlling his powers through meditation, much like Wanda with her astral projection. Both characters are on the run from the military after hurting a large number of innocent people. After Wanda launches the car at Agnes/Agatha, the shot of Agatha's shoe sticking out from beneath the car is an homage to the scene in The Wizard of Oz, where Dorothy discovers her house has crushed the Wicked Witch of the East. Later, Wanda has fought Agnes in the town, and the town has flashed through different decades. The marquee on the theater, which had actually appeared in a previous episode, shows the movie to be Oz the Great and Powerful, which I will point out was directed by Sam Raimi, the director of Doctor Strange 2, The Multiverse of Madness. So, the first appearance of Wanda Maximoff wearing the MCU Scarlet Witch costume. After featuring a nod to Wanda's classic costume from the comics and earlier in the series, this episode introduces the contemporized version of that ensemble. Along with learning sleight of hand, I forgot to mention that too, Jimmy Woo in the episode. We forgot all about him when we were doing our breakdown, Matt. He, along with learning sleight of hand to allow him to produce his business card out of thin air, Jimmy has also learned one other magician's trope, escape artistry, because he uses a safety pin to free himself from the handcuffs earlier in the episode, and he was able to bring the FBI to Westview to basically arrest Hayward and everybody.
Right.
So, just letting you know that. Throughout the series, Agatha refers to her husband named Ralph, who is revealed to be the same name of the true identity of the person that she had recast as Pietro Maximoff, or Pietro. Ralph Boner, he is played by Evan Peters, and in the MCU reality is a struggling actor, is what they're saying. I don't know if that's true or not. Which can be inferred as Monica examines a professional headshot of him while she is being held prisoner by him while he is under Agatha's control. After he escapes from the handcuffs, Jimmy Woo wryly exclaims, "Flourish!" The same thing gum-drunk Vision had exclaimed after each magic trick during the magic show in episode 2.
That's right.
Yeah. Let's see. When Agatha...
also, too,
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I'll just say that the gum he was chewing was called Big Red. I forgot about that.
Yeah. When Agatha breaks Wanda's spell over the population of Westview, the locals all swarm her and begin shouting at her. It resembles a scene from various Marvel productions in the comics where a telepathic character discovers their powers and can hear every thought in the vicinity at the chaotic, uncontrollable manner. The scene where Agatha and Wanda fight in the sky over Westview and Agatha seemingly drains Wanda of her energy is reminiscent of a scene in Hulk, which we covered for this show in our Crisis on Infinite Films series, where the Hulk's father, Nick Nolte, tries to drain the Hulk of his powers in order to live. Kevin Feige was an executive producer on that film. So, yeah, as well as this show. So, okay, so, all right, speculation time, Matt. What thoughts do you have about the future of the MCU?
I think that magic and the supernatural are going to be much more a part of it starting from, here on out because of this show. Because mostly so far it's been kind of about like super tech, like Iron Man. You got Captain with the serum. Most of the people who have powers, it's not because of any kind of innate, natural thing. It's because of some kind of enhancement. And then we got into aliens, of course, like with Thanos, and I guess technically Thor would be considered an alien, I guess.
And then with like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. So like so far we haven't really dealt with the supernatural except with Doctor Strange. That was like the first one where we really got into like actual like other realms of existence, like not just planets, but like actual different like dimensions of beings, like not just like the Titans live on this planet, Thor lives on this planet, like actual like spiritual entities, or as far as we know, spiritual entities. And that should be interesting to see if they're going to go that route, because the comic books are full of these stories. I mean, like, they didn't really explain too much to movies about how the Infinity Stones were ever created, but they were like actually created by like gods, weren't they, or something like that?
Yeah.
And so like, Marvel like literally has gods, and it has like a hierarchy of gods too. Like you have like what were they called? Like not the Immortals? Is that what they're called? Or is they
Eternals?
That's right, the Eternals. So you got those, but there's actually beings that are even higher above them who created the Eternals. So like you've got like almost like the angelic type, but then you also have like demons as well, like Mephisto, who live like in hellish realms. And then of course, like with Doctor Strange, you had that what was his name, Dormammu or something like that, or
yeah, I think so.
Like a dark entity, essentially, kind of like. So I think that that we're going to get into this kind of cool stuff now that we've kind of touched all of the bases before of like. Because you think about it, starting with Iron Man, I mean, it was literally just a rich guy who was like a genius who, created like his own superpowered suit. Like that's where the MCU began with that. And then in Endgame, it was aliens and time travel, and it's just total like, different than how it started. So,
I mean, and. It like you mentioned Eternals. The movie's supposed to come out in November too about the Eternals. So,
okay,
yeah,
sweet. So yeah, I mean, I think we're especially with Doctor Strange because they kind of set that up with the spiritual aspect of like, well, the Avengers and other people, they're protecting, the physical world, whether that be Earth or other planets, but all of that exists within the physical realm. Even when they went to get the Soul Stone, they still had to go to a physical place in order to get the Soul Stone.
Yeah.
Now, with Doctor Strange, it's there's different dimensions of beings and that kind of stuff, and it's like, and those need to be protected as well, and also the physical plane needs to be protected from some of those beings as well, so that they don't invade and basically take over, the physical realm with their spiritual powers. So I think we're going to get into that. Hopefully, there'll at least be a few movies where they kind of get into that a little bit more. And I think we're going to see more of Wanda as like a, I'm actually just really jazzed about what they did with Wanda as a character. I mean, she started off as like this teaser scene at the end of Captain America versus Winter Soldier, where she's kind of like playing with the her powers a little bit, and Pietro is just like running back and forth in his cell or whatever, and then we're introduced to them properly in Age of Ultron, and she only has like a few powers, like she could give people nightmares, she could do a few things here and there, and then like we really don't see much of that until Infinity War, where she ends up being able to just Mind Stone, and then in Endgame, she actually almost was able to kill Thanos on her own. So, like, each movie, we're given more indication of, like, her powers are growing, you know, and then now she literally has become the most powerful entity in the entire MCU. Like, you know,
I mean,
it was like a 6-year process.
And my thing is, it's like, I don't know, is she more powerful than Captain Marvel, though? I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. You know, it's
probably as far as because she has magic abilities.
Yeah,
which I think trumps any kind of physical abilities you might have.
Yeah.
My personal opinion on that. So, like, Captain Marvel could be the strongest physical person in the universe, but when you're dealing with magic, you're taking your own physical power, but then you're adding other dimensional power as well. You know, so I don't know. We'd have to see. Basically, I mean, speaking of that, I wonder if Monica actually might be more powerful than Captain Marvel. You know, at this point.
Yeah, because, I mean, I don't know. I don't think so, but it's hard to say. I guess we'll find out in Captain Marvel too.
Yeah.
As far as like what's coming up, just so people know, I mean, I'm just gonna kind of go through this really quick of what we got coming up. Mm-hmm. As far as films go, I mean, we do have the TV series is coming up. We've got Falcon and the Winter Soldier soon, and then we also have Loki coming up soon, along with Miss Marvel and She-Hulk and a bunch of other ones that are coming out sometime in the next couple of years.
Nice.
So we've got and others I'm probably forgetting about. Hawkeye as well. So as far as films go, we have Black Widow coming out supposedly in May. I mean, all this thing is probably, based on whatever they can do with COVID shit, So
right.
We got Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings coming out in July.
Nice.
Which will definitely deal with magic and stuff in that one. We got the Eternals coming out in November of this year. Spider-Man No Way Home comes out in December of this year. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness comes out in March of next year. Thor Love and Thunder comes out in May of next year. Black Panther 2 comes out in July of next year. Captain Marvel 2 comes out in November of next year. To be determined of, next year and whenever it is, we've got Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumanium, which comes out sometime in 2022. And Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 comes out sometime in 2023. And then there's also Fantastic Four, which is coming out at some point. It's still in development right now, so yeah, we got a lot of good stuff to look forward to, which we will cover on the show if you want us to. Let us know. If you would like us to break down the episodes of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, please let us know, and we may do that if we feel up to it. No, we will. Or if there's anything else you'd like us to cover, just go to our Facebook group is the best way to let us know. That's the All2ReelToo podcast group on Facebook. Also, you can email me directly at mike@cullenpark.com and let me know anything that you want us to cover on this show. We're always up for suggestions. Check out our Patreon as well as our TeePublic, which we have some cool merchandise on. All2ReelToo.com will take you directly to our Facebook page at the moment. If you liked this, check out some of our other episodes. Our latest episode right now is us covering the direct-to-video sequel Beethoven's Third, which was an excellent movie. And you get to hear our thoughts on that.
I mean, Judge Reinhold, it was probably his finest,
Yes. That or his run on Arrested Development.
Yes. Yes. That was hilarious. I love that. What was it called? Something, Judge, what was the name of it? because they kept doing like folk justice and it was polk justice.
I think it was Judge Reinhold with Judge Reinhold. Something.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, that was great. It was actually a good movie. Beethoven's Third was actually not that bad.
It wasn't as bad as some of the movies that we've watched.
Yeah. It was like a fun vibe to it.
Yeah, and check out that. We've got a lot of cool interviews. Most recent interview that we had up was one with Tommy McLaughlin, who directed one of the Friday the 13th movies, Jason Lives. He also directed some other cool movies. Sometimes, what was it? I don't know. I'm blanking on things right now, and my brain is not working. But he was.
I'm feeling the same way.
Yeah.
By the way, tomorrow we're going to be reviewing. I'm not sure when it will be uploaded, but we're going to be reviewing the sleeper hit of 2004, known as The Sleepover. That is somewhat starring our boy Pietro in it,
as well as Captain Marvel herself, Brie Larson.
Right, and by the way, I chose that movie not knowing any of this.
Yes.
So,
as well as appearances by Jane Lynch and Steve Carell. So
Steve. Yep.
So that'll be fun. That'll be fun to talk about. Yeah, and if you have any suggestions of any movies that you just like for us to watch and make us watch or whatever, just let us know. We'll do it. As long as we have access to them, we'll watch them. And if you have any other thoughts, please let us know. We just want to, we want to get you involved as much as possible. Anybody that's listening to the show, we'd love to hear from you. And we'll read whatever you send us on the air if you allow us to. So, just send your emails to mike@cullenpark.com. Go to our Facebook group, and comment there as well. Anything else before we leave here today, Matt?
No, I think I'm good.
Alrighty. So, be kind, rewind, don't litter, wear a mask. Wear a condom. Yep, wear a condom. Yes. Especially if you're having sex with the clone of yourself, wear a condom.
I was going to say, do it. Or the multiverse version of yourself.
Yes.
Whatever.
Oh God, we're weird. Anyways, so until next time, bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All2ReelToo podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.